what distributing is just by itself, we're going to look at the distribution property in an equation. So there's nothing really different here except for we are solving for a variable now. So we're going to have to distribute first and then get our variable by itself. So let's write some steps. So 1, we know that we're going to have to distribute. Then we're going to have to add or subtract to get x by itself. And then we're going to have to multiply or divide to get x by itself. Again, to isolate the variable so we can see what x is representing, what number x is. So let's start off with our first step. We're going to distribute first. We have to do that step first before we can move any further. So we're going to distribute the 9 into whatever is in the parentheses. When I say distribute, that means we're going to multiply. So we're doing 9 times x plus 9 times 4. 9 times x is just 9x, and 9 times 4 is 36. And we still have 90 on the other side. So 9x plus 36 equals 90. Now our next step is to add or subtract to get the x term by itself. So I don't want to do anything with this term first, remember. I want to get rid of this 36. So to get rid of the 36, to move it to the other side, I need to do the opposite of adding. I need to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 36 from each side. 90 minus 36. And 36 minus 36, well, that's 0, so I can cross it off. And I'm left with 9x on the left. 90 minus 36 is 54. And now, finally, I'm on to my third step. I want to still get that x by itself. Remember, when an x is attached to a number, it's really multiplying. Or when there's any other variable attached to a number, you are multiplying there. So I want to do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. So I want to divide each side by 9. 54 divided by 9 is 6. These cross off. That's the whole point of dividing by 9. So we can get rid of that on the left so that we get x by itself, and we get that x equals 6. Let's look at one more example. In this problem, we have negative 5x times the quantity of 2 plus 3 equals 100. So we do have a number in front of this variable. We have a variable on the outside instead of having a variable inside the parentheses, which is completely fine. We're still going to distribute the same way that we would if we just had a number outside. So step 1 is to distribute. We're going to distribute the negative 5x into both of these numbers in the inside, 2 and 3. So we're going to do negative 5x times 2 plus, because we have a plus down here, negative 5x times 3. We didn't do anything to the right, so I'm going to keep that as 100. Negative 5x times 2 is negative 10x. And negative 5x times 3 is negative 15x. You're just multiplying those. If we were adding, we couldn't combine those, but we're multiplying, so we can do that. Now, I can combine these like terms because I have an x in each of them. If this 15 didn't have an x, I could not combine those terms. They are not alike. But because they both have one x in them, I can combine these terms. So I'm going to add them. I have a negative 10 and a negative 15, which gives me negative 25x. Remember, you're not doing anything with the x's. You're not squaring it or anything. It's just stays as x equals 100. Well, our next step would be to add or subtract to get x by itself, but we can't add or subtract anything. We don't have an extra term like plus 10 over here at all. So we want to still get the x by itself, but we have to do that by dividing. Remember, this is multiplying. 25 times x, negative 25 times x. So we have to divide by negative 25 on each side. This crosses off the negative 25 on the left. we are left with x on the left-hand side. 100 divided by negative 25 is negative 4. So x equals negative 4. And that's your final answer.